Hey, and welcome back to talking about Maya. We are running through MASH at breakneck speeds on these videos as best I can help it. Today, we're going to talk about transformation style nodes, specifically transformation replicator, and we're going to reiterate some of the random node because I love the random node. Let's go ahead and generate a heap of objects. I'm not going to do all the fancy stuff we did in the previous video because it's time consuming. I will then choose to make this a mesh distribution. I'm going to give it a linear distribution to save on some time. This is going to be a sorted mesh. You'll see that again, we need to iterate, we need to create an ID node. I want this to be random. We need more objects, always better when you have more objects. And we will start by adding a random node. So, hey, hey, I see. Random node. So let's go ahead and put this at 222. I would like another 360 degrees all across the board for available random rotation. Let's do another 111 on this guy so that they can be like wildly differently sized. And let's make this actually 555. Cool. So I believe under distribution, I would like to work on some ramps. So I don't think the bias is going to be interesting enough. However, I would like to make these splines on the rotation, but they're being controlled by the random area, so that's not going to work. Hmm. Well then, maybe not. So, random. We've done all this before. Let's go ahead and move on to another new node called the replicator node. And all this does creates replications of your previous nodes below it. Now, one thing I'm curious about is whether or not this will replicate randomness or like if it's order specific, but we're not going to get into that this time. We're just going to kind of talk about what each node does. But it does seem. Oh, right. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. So, replicator. We're replicating everything beneath it. The random is affecting the ID node beneath it. So, the distribution is being affected by all three of these things, and then it's being duplicated by this replicator. Uh, Kind of a weird thing about this is that it's not the same idea as the distribution. It's so you've got 20 objects, so 20 objects, and each one is offset by a certain amount. So in between each of these 20 objects is about, let's say, negative 10 units of space. If you then reduce this to, let's say, 10 to reduce it, just expect this to go cut in half or so, which it does. So it's not that this is the amount of distance that it will cover, period, and then you're filling in the space between those 2 points. It's more about having 10 objects that each are pushed 10 units through space. It's sort of like linearly distributing these over time, and it was a little interesting, kind of fun. So we can play with a scale ramp, which is interesting. You can kind of scale them that way, and you can kind of push them all over the place. But I wish they had a ramp for this. I really do. Oh. So you can play with how much they're scaled with this ramp here. And this will apply up to 1 as a value, which is the top here, and down as low as 0 down here. So it starts off at 0, goes all the way up to a scale of 1. If we scale these 3 times, you can actually get a fairly exponential growth, especially if you manage to get this to be splined. So now we have our own little exponential growth graph of objects being scaled further and further away. Ta-da! Oh, apparently scale together does some weird things. Rotation, you can kind of offset things. Rotation, if you open it up, this gives you the same as the random. It rotates them by the end of the distribution by 360 degrees in all axes if you choose to do so. And once again, you can kind of play with how that is distributed along the distribution. The same words, I apologize. and some really strange effects going on. Oop, oop. Position ramp, you can sort of play with how this is distributed. You can go like this if you want them to be back heavy. You can go down here if you want them to be front loaded heavy. So again, ramps are really powerful for that. We'll go over them a lot more in the next video. What's next? Transform node. Oh, I like this one. This is the backbone of pretty much everything. If you don't make your MASH network in the correct place, you can do one of two things. You can set up your transform node and you can create a locator object, which is this little guy down here, which will then act as your MASH network center of pretty much everything. You can rotate from this position in any axis. You can scale the entire affair up and down, or in any axis in general. So this is acting on the entire MASH as an entire whole. So if you were to put this below the replicator node, theoretically it would only act on the random node below it and things like that. So who knows what effect this would have. But let's see. There we go. So if we do it this way, it sort of doesn't work on the replicator and does very strange things to the distribution beneath it. And it also affects the the replication a little rather oddly. Rotations also behave very adversely. So typically it's best to have this on the very tippy top, just because it just behaves the way you expect. However, if you're looking for that kind of effect down here, it's a great way to go. Alternatively, instead of having a locator act as it, as like a major thing, if you've got, say, a torus, I love tori, and you want it to be the main connecting object, you can go into your transform node with your torus selected, and you can connect it right up. Now, this does do some weird things. It sets the transformation space of your entire MASH network to the size of your torus as opposed to the singular point down here. So if you've got you've got this here and you're like, oh yeah, I'm really happy with that, and then you attach it to a very scaled up object, suddenly you've got some crazy shenanigans going on. I believe, I haven't tested this yet, so forgive me if I'm wrong, I'm going to freeze its transformations, meaning its scaling is at 1 now. And if we take that and we go to the transform node, break the connection, and connect it again, it should behave normally. Perfect. Let's try it again. Let's make sure this is actually true. So we're going to scale this way up. We're going to freeze its transformations. And we're going to reconnect it to our transform node. It does seem to still change things a bit, doesn't it? But if you do it that way, it sort of looks correct. So if you freeze your transformations and your object has a scale value of 1 across the board, and you scale the points, it should scale them correctly. So that's one way to fix that issue. And at that point, it basically behaves the way you expect, as long as your transform node is in the correct place. You can rotate things to your heart's content. You can translate it all over the place. Nothing breaks at this point. Yeah. So that's a really quick way to add a bunch of bulk with replicator and how to transform if you haven't placed your MASH correctly or if it just looks better somewhere else. You can add a transform node and play with that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.